Exams are just around the corner. Are you ready? At One Lawler and Rubtech, we have all the books you need to excel: mathematics, science, chemistry, English, biology, computer studies, religious education, home economics, and ECE books. Plus, we provide pamphlet question and answers to help you prepare with confidence. And not only that, we also offer stationery, toner, brand new printers on sale, document printing, and professional company registration services. Visit us today or contact us on +260 760 261 873. You can also reach us on WhatsApp. One Lawler and Rubtech, helping you succeed in your exams and beyond.
Welcome back to my channel of empowering knowledge in computer science. I'm your perfect tutor, Mr. Mpung Boston. And today we'll continue from where we ended by looking at full episode of one of 10 series of programming language, specifically C++, where we'll cover topics like introduction to C++, type of programming languages, types of generation of computer programming, types of programming errors, key concept in C++, predefined data control structures, basic operation in C++, exam questions. Last but not the least, we'll create an ATM machine or Zanaco ATM machine program using C++. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell button so that you get notified once I drop a new video like this. Stay tuned. Welcome back. So, today's lesson will look at programming language, specifically C++. Remember, C++ is considered to be high-level language, okay? Which is the general purpose programming and coding language, which support both procedural and object-oriented program. Is that okay? Now, let's look at the uses of C++ programming. It is used for making what? Software development. Example, antivirus. Used for making game development, operating system, browsing up to embedded system, and many more. Example there. Okay, let's proceed. Let's look at now programming IDs. Okay, so I'm trying to be slow for beginners or for revisions so that you get to know this. So number one ID, we have code block. Number two, we have Visual Studio Code up to CL, including NetBeans and Eclipse. Is that okay? If at all, then let's proceed. So we'll look at now compilation in C++. Okay? So when I said compilation in C++, this is the process where we'll see how human readable code are translated into what? Into a machine code, and what are the processes that are involved. Is that okay? Okay, if at all, then let's proceed. So, compilation in C++. So this is the step-by-step translation of program from human readable code into machine code that the computer can understand. In short, we are saying this. Let's take an example of this. So this example, when we write I love you. So I love you is a human readable code. Remember, we are looking at C++, which is a high-level language. Is that okay? So high-level language is friendly to users, whereby it allows you to write it permits you to use your own language that you can understand. So you write the code in your language that you can understand. Then the computer or the program will execute or will change this I love you into a machine readable code. Now, what is a machine readable code? The machine readable code are zeros and ones. So meaning there is a process which are involved in changing I love you into binaries. binaries are zeros and ones. Is that okay? So now let's see how it happens. So when we write I love you, this I love you are considered to be what? Human readable language. So what will happen? For the computer to understand that this sentence is I love you, there is a process which is involved in converting this what? This name I love you or any other words that you can write. For example, maybe you are writing a letter or other words, as long as they are in human readable code or language. For instance, in English or any other language that you can type. Those human readable language are converted into what? A machine language. So this is what happened. So I is converted into binaries. Where I say binaries is zeros and one. Is that okay? So then you notice that after I, there is a space here. So the space also will be converted into zeros and one. Is that okay? Okay. So even after E, there is a space. So even after E will be converted into zeros and ones. So up to the last letter of U. So you notice that there is a process of converting our language that we write into a machine language. So from here to here. Have you seen? This is the word that we typed, then or the computer executed into what? Into binaries, which is zeros and ones. Because this is the language that the computer can only understand. Is that okay? If at all, then let's proceed. Okay. Now, let's look at the stages that are involved from human readable code to machine readable code. So I'll take you through step by step so that we can understand. So stage 1 is called source code file. Now, what is a source code file? So in source code file, this is where the program start. Okay? Like, remember we have said human readable code. So this is a source code, is more like you take an example of a human readable code we write here. So this is our source code. Our source code here is I love you. So stage 1. Is that okay? Now what happened when we say I love you? Let's look at stage 2. So stage 2, it will compile our human readable language. Okay? So what really happened here is that the compiler, the job is to translate our source code into lower level form called the object file. Think of the compiler like a translator. It changes our English like code into library instruction like zeros and one. However, if our code uses library function, the compiler just put a placeholder. Is that okay? We just put a placeholder or reference to it. It doesn't yet include the actual library code. So the actual library code will come in stage 3. Let's look at what is stage 3. Stage 3 is called object file. Like I said, so what happened here? After compilation, we'll get the object file, stage 3, right? This file contains a machine code, but it is incomplete because some parts are still just reference to library. You remember now? So at this stage, we can't run a program yet. We need another stage, which is stage 4. Now let's look at what is this. This stage 4 is called a linker. Okay? Which contain what? A library file. So now what happened here? Now what is the link? The link, its job is to bring everything together. It looks at the object file and then put in the actual code from the library file, which is from stage 3, right? Then there it reads and made a piece of code stored separately. For example, if we use cout in C++, that comes from a standard library. Then the link attach its library code to our object file. Is that okay? Then let's look at now number 5. So number 5 is called executable file. And you know when you say executable file, you understand? This is so an executable file, this is the complete version of our program written entirely in machine code, which is zeros and one. Is that okay? Okay. So it means that now the program is done. Or I can say an executable file is what you double click to launch a program or what runs in the background where we type A out on Linux or click an AX file in Windows. Is that okay? So now, stage 5 now here, we talked about library files which attached in an executable what? Files. Okay? So, in a simple term, we can say now, when we write a source code which can be written in human readable code, it needs a compiler to translate it. From now, it needs a linker to add a missing what? Library code. After now adding, it will now form an executable what? File which will run in the computer. This process shows why we need both a compiler and a linker to turn our C++ program into something the machine can actually execute. So from this now process, the executable file is what? Is formed, and we have a library. So it will make now a machine to understand what we have written here, like I love you, to be able to translate it into what? A machine language or binaries, which are zeros and ones. So this is how the process of compilation in C++ works. So if I do, then let's proceed program. So let me explain each line so that you can understand. So the first line is called preprocessor directive. This tells the compiler to include the library like cout and cin. Is that okay? Then here the third line is called using namespace std or preventing writing std each and every time. The third line is called int main. This is where the program will start running. Then line number 7, cout hello world. Okay, this is an instruction. This is where we put an instruction. Okay, is that okay? Then we also have return 0. Okay, this is an instruction inside what? This is called what? Braces. Now, here I want to mention that return 0 when you run the program and execute zeros is telling that your program has what? Run or executed what? Successfully. If at all, you may count errors. Is that okay? Let's proceed. Okay, let me show you now how to install CodeBlock. So go to Google, type CodeBlock. So click on that. Look for downloads. In our case, it's there. So click on that. Download the release. If you are using a Mac, Linux, but in my case, I'm using Windows. So click on that. So look for the one which has a setup. So and in my case, it is that one. So click on that. So you wait for a new download window to pop up. So you wait for it. It has finished. So we can now click on that. So let's try to install it. Okay, just press next. So this is just license. Now click on it and you can install it by default. Click on that. can choose the location and destination. So just press install. The program now is installing. Just wait for it. Okay, now just press. Do you want to run code block now? Just press OK. So just press next. So as you can see, it has installed. Just press next. Again next. Finished. So here, just by default, just now let's try to run the code block. Create a new project. Click on console application. Press next. Choose C++ because it's the one that we are using. Press next. You can name your project. In my case, I would just say tutorial 1. Here you can choose the destination, location of your project. In my case, so you can choose, but in my case, I will just choose desktop. Select next. So compiler is GNU compilers. So press finished. So here it comes now. The C++ code has opened. So you can just press on the under sources. So you can press on the minus there, the main menu. So this is the first program of C++, which include IOStream using namespace std int menu cout yellow. So let's try now to build and run. So you can click on that. Okay, so here we can check if the program that we have installed is working correctly. As you can see, it is showing that it's working correctly. So please go and download your code block as you follow this lesson along. Thank you. I'm your perfect tutor, Mr. Boston Impundu. Continue liking, subscribing for more content like this.